Mindrash Productions. This is Football Thoughts. Manchester City nil. Tottenham Hotspur 2 full-time score. Wow, Tottenham came here and they did a tidy job coming here for a heist in which they ran away with all the 3 points money. 10 shots to 12, Tottenham. 4 shots on target to 5, Tottenham. 61 possession to 39 possession, Man City. City outpassed Tottenham 503 to 324. But listen, Thomas Frank, people. Thomas Frank. He came here and he did what he did against PSG. He set them up for 4-3-3. But the thing is that Tottenham were more physical with their midfield. Paulinho and Sarr and Bentancur were just absolutely clinic in this against the City team. And listen, like, this is why Thomas Frank he recruited very well. His recruitment in Kudus and Paulinho is very crucial to Tottenham's key in terms of the way they play and their style of play. The pressing was very selective. He doesn't go constant press like this Ruben fella. He's always very selective with his pressing. And that's what I like about Thomas Frank. He's a very intelligent coach. There's a reason why in the treble season that City have, he was the only team to have beaten City at home when he was coaching Brentford. And now you're going to see Brentford get relegated this season because of they've lost the brain of Thomas Frank. First goal, man, Brendan Johnson. Although I don't like Brendan Johnson, he delivered in this goal. Some would blame Trafford for that first goal. But listen, when A.T. Nori left with that injury, a part of Kudus kind of felt comfortable playing against Nathan Ake because Nathan Ake just doesn't have the pace to deal with Kudus. Nori kind of had the pace to deal with Kudus, but as soon as they lost him, it was a little bit of a catastrophe because Nathan Ake, I believe his legs are gone for this league. Nico Gonzalez. Yeah. Listen, this guy is shit. Yeah. There's times where you could see that Richarlison was bodying him when he was coming back as a false nine. Paulinho was dominating the midfield because Jerky and Reinders couldn't handle his physique. Jerky was okay in this game, but the only flop is for me is that Jerky just tried to was forcing too much of his passes, which didn't land. Haaland had a chance, Mamouche had a chance, but ultimately it wasn't working for City. Yeah. And of course they're playing less of their ball and more attacking ball, but you can still tell that some of the players haven't registered that sort of football system, the switch up. They're still more used to holding the ball and keeping possession. And these sort of things, teams like Tottenham can punish City for. And this is why Tottenham did so well against PSG, against a team that is just all about possession, possession, possession. It's, and then the way they press, the consecutive pressing, but it's very selective. It's a bad matchup for Manchester City to play against a team like Tottenham. And this is why I believe City will have a lot of problems in the Champions League specifically, because a lot of teams in the Champions League will know how to beat City. City with this 4-1-4-1 formation just doesn't work nicely because if you want to play this position, you need Rodri. But I believe Rodri doesn't have the legs to be playing in the whole full season in the Premier League, let alone football anymore. Reinders did what he could do, yeah. But the matter of the fact is there is no fluidity. Guys were missing their passes. Guys were missing their first touch. It almost seemed like City were having an off day. Rico Lewis and John Stones need to be taken out of the City team for them to evolve their football. John Stones doesn't have the legs for it. Rico Lewis, we've seen time and time in the transitional or counter-attacking team, he fumbles because he doesn't have the defensive awareness to handle rapid pace attacks like Brendan Johnson, Richarlison, and Mohamed Kudus. And it is a buy factor, guys. it is a byfactor of having recruited wrong. City have and always should have recruited on the defense for them to evolve their game so that they can have less of the results they had from last season. But listen, Thomas Frank, we give him his roses and flowers today. I've always said Thomas Frank should have been the manager of Manchester United instead of this Ruben Amorim fraud because he has tactics and he can build a team from a foundation. And that's what he's doing with Tottenham. He's utilizing Paulinho and Kudus and Van der Veen and Poro and Spence, and he's making them more of defensive players but with physicality, and then just catches you on the counter in transition. This is how Thomas Frank does. And I solely believe that he can make Tottenham finish in the top four because he's just that type of manager. He can adapt to styles, different sort of styles from teams that he's playing against. We saw against the PSG team. He almost won that game because he was working out on set pieces. He was working out on quick transitions, quick counters. You see what I'm saying? The only worry is when Tottenham have injuries in crucial areas, they will crumble because they don't have the depth to replace those certain players who could be injured in crucial areas of the position. But ultimately, his style of play should carry him throughout the course of this season. Ultimately, I believe Pep Guardiola is finished. Ultimately, in the Premier League, I think he's done with club football. I think he should have called it quits after he won the treble. Because what is happening right now is that he is delaying the process of leaving when you're up. And when you don't leave when you're up, the chances are of you failing are incredibly higher because you're not going to have the same prime. You're not going to have the same level of team. You're not going to have the same level of skill that you had in that treble side. And I've always said this ever since they lost Riyad Mahrez, they haven't been the same on the offensive unit. Sure, Randers and Jerky can provide better offense, but it is ultimately a case of can Pep replace certain players in positions? And I believe Oscar Bob is good, but it's still not the it factor for them to be winning big games like this, as you can see. Pep Guardiola's in trouble, man. City have a lot of questions to fill out this season, but ultimately, this has been my broadcast. This is the Reclusive Artist presenting to you the Red God TV. And until next time, people, like and subscribe. It's good karma. We are out.